Top 10 AI tools for businesses in 2025.
Guys, you look amazing. How's your energy so far? So AI has been center stage. I think everything that we discuss, the second word is AI, AI, AI. And hopefully, we can learn something, maybe some new tools also. But first, what's the importance of those AI tools and how you can use them to change everything that you are actually creating? How many entrepreneurs here? Startups? Just let me know. Companies? Representing companies? There we go. Perfect. Universities, anyone? Private sector? All right. Perfect. Yeah. Just trying to understand so we can help a lot. So how are you guys doing?
Amazing.
That's the spirit. So I want to ask one question to all, which is, how do you see this AI scene evolving in business from 2025 to 2030? This is a question for all.
Okay.
We're heading, to amazing advancements.
Exactly. True. I believe one of the main things we're going to be one of them is moving from an absolute automation to autonomous decision making. So we're taking the AIs, being able to make strategic decisions on our behalf. So that's one of the main things that we're going to be seeing.
Kate?
Yeah, I think 2025 to 2030, it's going to be a huge jump of, we all hear from the last panel, the AI agents. So there's going to be more AI agents than human. So that means a lot of entrepreneurs will have minimal employee.
Maximum?
Yes, and no, minimum. And I think with our instant gratification disease as a human, where we wanted our shopping experience to be there in a minute, right? I think companies gonna win by providing personalized experience. It's gonna be who's gonna be more human, because everyone's gonna be delivered fast, speed, and accuracy. So it's all about the personal touch, is how you're gonna win by 2030.
So minimum employees, maximum output. Perfect. Stay with me, Kate. You just came back from Davos. Did you see anything special there?
Yes, I saw the president of Ukraine and very interesting world leaders. And we all talk about AI and, of course, Trump and climate change.
Trump is a very fashionable name. Azhar?
So I think between 2025 to 2030, I guess the main thing will be like typically what we have done as humans is we have always sort of underestimated the long-term impact and like overestimate the short-term impact, like almost across the board with all the technological changes which has come through. So I think in the next 5 years, I think the hype will continue on. I think in terms of major changes, I don't see significant changes happening because from a business standpoint, it takes a while. It's not the technology, it's the implementation of the technology within the business, which makes it much harder. But the sheer number of, the consumer tools, that has already like proliferated across the board and everything. But overall, the long-term impact is going to be fairly significant. Whether it's 5 years or 10 years, I can't tell, but like the sheer volume of data for the people who have a lot of data and sitting in a lot of data, they're only going to get more powerful. So when you're looking at the likes of the Googles and the Facebooks of the world who are constantly generating the data, they probably will be in a more like a feudal state kind of a thing, that given that they have so much information, they might be running the world in a very different way.
I think one of the most important parts of the birth of OpenAI in terms of release of ChatGPT in October, November 2022, so time has passed now, is that release of applications and tons of amazing applications. And now we're seeing the conversions of so many things and beyond with agentic AI. I just witnessed a demo a couple of days here in Dubai on fully autonomous fully autonomous system that is agentic 100%, native agentic. And I was like, whoa.
Take care.
I was worried. So,
Rudy, I want to add one thing.
sure.
One, because a lot of entrepreneurs are with us today, is like the business valuation itself will change. Because these days when we evaluate business based on the revenues, the assets that we have, the IPs. But moving forward, again, we're going to be evaluating business based on the AI assets, proprietary intelligence that we have in the company. So that's also will change in the next.
Is that the future, or are you already seeing it today?
It's coming in, but it's going to be one of the main critical things that investors will look at. So the valuation will be 100% affected.
So let me continue with you. What do you think those key factors in the businesses that they should consider when selecting those AI tools, not just from valuation, but maybe from technical perspectives, innovation perspective, advancements perspective, business challenges?
Of course, like the easy answer to it is the cost and the need but one of the main things that you need to consider is, are you going generic or you're building your own thing? So, because at the end of the day, AI is not becoming a tool, it's becoming a competitive advantage. It has to come within the DNA of your organization. So which direction you're going through, and also the scalability. It's not having tools that's gonna not be able to scale your company or your business with. So these are two things you need to think about.
Kate, coming from Global AI Council, what are you guys doing on these special applications, or in general, that can help?
Well, I'm actually an entrepreneur running e-commerce and hospitality business and PR and media. So when picking tools for business, I mean, look, our employees already mumbling like, do we have to work from home? And now we're gonna deploy a new tool. So it's really, it boils down to education and kind of pick the tools that make sense for your business, because it's so hard not to get ADD with all these tools. So pick what makes sense that's really usable and kind of slowly, deploy it, because it gets really overwhelming. Like, it's already hard to empower your employee at this point, and they get overwhelmed and the fear of, would I be, replaced by AI agent, right? So slowly merging it to them really needs a lot of time for us CEO and leaders, because at the end of the day, we will go through a lot of resistance. Even us CEOs, we all get like, I don't know which tool do I have to focus on. How much more an employee? And we're the one that care. For them, they just there for whatever, if they embrace the mission, but just think from their other end, it's very difficult. So it boils down to education. Make them feel like, look, you're gonna be more effective when you work hand in hand with technology, so it's human and technology combined.
Before I jump to Azhar, who do you think will be replaced by an AI from the audience? Do you think you will be replaced by an AI? Show of hands. One? Very good. So you have the right thing to move forward. And I loved that I barely saw one hand. Barely. Because that brings you into a perspective that you are empowered to change and how it can empower you to do different things. So I love it. What are you cooking in your labs, Azhar?
Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
I know, but
So we are actually in a synthetic data generation thing. So the idea is that instead of you're familiar with the likes of Kantar and Nielsen's for doing market research and doing surveys and focus groups, so which takes 3 to 4 months and tens of thousands of dollars. So now you can basically synthetically generate personas. So basically say, I'm looking for 25 to 30-year-old Qataris who are high net worth individuals in the in the oil and gas sector. How will they respond to a certain set of questions and focus groups? So you don't have to necessarily do that. So now, rather than waiting for 3 to 4 months to get this research done, you can synthetically generate those personas and run these experiments at scale within a matter of minutes. So that's what we do.
Why I ask you this, because I want to ask you also, what did you consider when selecting those AI tools? Because you're creating them. Is there any specific niche, innovation, depending on your industry, of course? Are you looking for something special?
Yeah, so the way it is done, if you ask a ChatGPT or any kind of a straight-up AI model, it's a generic answer, which is basically across billions of things. The way it is done is basically we create like thousands of personas and give them a backstory. So here is Seif, and Seif is from Egypt and lived in Morocco and Russia and whatnot. And here is Kate. So you create a lot of backstories, which will allow them to simulate answers which are fairly unpredictable at some level, but more predictable showing at a large scale. So that's about how you go about, this is one of the ways of doing it.
Great. Seif, do you think adoption or AI adoption is no longer an option or optional? Are there challenges that companies face when integrating this AI? From your perspective, you've been all over, I was just speaking to you, so you can see it from different sides. What's your take on this?
It's not an option, of course, but there are challenges, of course. Like one of the things is the workforce need to understand that AI supports the productivity at the end of the day. So that's one thing.
That's what we saw.
Exactly. The second thing is you see a lot of companies, they're adapting AI for just adapting AI. There is a lack of strategy behind having an AI within your organization because it has to go into the DNA.
Okay.
That's one second thing. The third is it has to be related to your core business. So I'm not just adding AI to automate things. It has to be related to the business to increase revenue. Like, for example, I'm not putting AI to automate customer service. I'm putting AI to personalize shopping experience to increase my conversion. So it directly correlates to the core of the business. So these are the things that companies need to look at. But again, you need to have a strategy for it. It's not just a hype or a trend that AI is happening. I need to have most of the AI tools available in my business. What's your strategy? And drill it down from there.
All right. Kate, what's your take on this?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, company, we have to sell, right? Whether it's sales lead or content creation for you as a CEO, marketing, we all need to utilize AI, because why would you not, right? I use it every day, and I started utilizing AI in 2012, utilizing Amazon, and at that time, they actually deployed predictive analysis AI, and it was able to scale a $20 capital to $20 million sales without any background. So I could do it manually, or I would scale utilizing AI, so it's a big difference. So absolutely.
So imagine this discussion, because most of my customers are enterprises. So they come and ask me, AI, Rudy, AI. But the big question is how to use these generative AI into our enterprise. And then it's an outdated question, because you said you're using it since 2011, 2012. But what they didn't know that AI has been there for 70 years as a concept and 20, 30, 40 years as a kind of available, but we needed the compute power, and this is where Amazon and others tried to solve it. But now it's commercially available to everyone. But the big question, they don't know how to use it. So this is personally what I'm solving, is how to map this generative AI and large language models into the businesses so that they can see the output. And the most, I think, asked question is data privacy and data ownership. Where will it be? So that they can create whatever apps on it and then empower them. Azhar, what's your take also on this?
I mean, it will, if you don't know, I mean, the cliche right now is if you don't know how to use AI, you will be replaced by a person who knows how to use AI. And that's just becoming more and more true. I don't think people are going to get replaced. I think they will just, they'll have to be upskilled. And if anything, from a point of view of more conversations which are going around in the public discourse, is really that once you, and recently OpenAI and these guys have introduced reasoning models. Right? So the reasoning models is no longer just like, okay, aggregate a bunch of information and give me a short answer or comprehensive answer. It's mostly now reasoning with it. So if you start to reasoning with it, that basically means your own reasoning muscles now are not getting used. So then the question becomes is like, how will that impact humans?
Are we becoming more stupid? This is what I read a few days ago.
Yeah, that's very likely, because if you are not pushing yourself to solve a problem and you're relying on the AI to do that, because it will always have more information than you can have at any moment in time. So its reasoning models will always, should be outperforming humans. So then that becomes an interesting challenge. And as for the businesses are concerned, I think the value is going to be, I mean, if they're trying to use generative AI for their businesses, especially on those businesses where they don't have enough data, that's where generative AI can be very valuable, that you can take a very small amount of data and use that generative AI processes to do better predictions versus the other AI where basically for the businesses where a lot of repetitive tasks can be replaced and you don't necessarily need generative AI for that. So there are a couple of different paths. It depends on what the business is really going after, but I think that today's buzz is really revolving heavily around pictures and videos and ability to write your emails more in a shorter, nicer manner.
So I want to stay with you as we wind down. What are, for you, 3 applications that you think our audience could benefit from? And then this is the same question to all our panel. What it is, what have you seen as something that they should know about as applications? Maybe you are using it, maybe you're testing it, maybe it's not there yet. I'm working with something that will be released actually tomorrow. So there's a lot of hype on this.
So I'll speak to the ones which I use very frequently and how effective it has made me. I use Fireflies a lot to record every single conversation in the business that's going on. And immediately after that, or like even a month later when I had to put the proposal, I pull it in and I just basically ask, what were the tasks? What was discussed? What do I need to give them? And even I've gone like yesterday, I just like create the proposal that the guy is asking for me. And it just did it for me. So that's the first one. And then I use it as a combination because the model itself is not that great for certain things, but able to extract it. Then I take that information and I plug it into Claude because it has a much better reasoning model. So it allowed me to basically create the deck much more cleanly. And in the past, it would have taken me 8 to 10 hours to do this thing. And now I just did it in a span of about an hour and a half. So it's not like it goes to 0, but because your job becomes to like look at it and figure out how to improve upon it.
Yeah, Kate?
Yeah, I use a lot of tools. For me to build my personal brand, I use OpusClips, my team, all the time. So it's like if you have a long-form podcast, you chop it in 15 seconds to make it like it just save and you schedule it for the next 30 days. For training my staff, I utilize InVideo.io because look, who wants to read handbook at this point when you can create a more engaging video to train your staff? And I utilize Zoe, that's a good chatbot inquiries. If you have an e-commerce, I run boutique hotel, so that really helps me a lot. And Vic AI is really good as far as understanding your customer persona and buyer psychology, and then that converts conversions, right? And so many. I'm a big fan of Perplexity for research. Of course, ChatGPT, who doesn't use ChatGPT, but I don't like accounting, so Vic AI is really good to kind of detect fraud if you have e-commerce and kind of like automate your accounting tasks. So those are the few tools that I like to use for a small business owner that you don't want to have a large team and be more, lean on spending for...
Perfect. Seif?
I think they've mentioned a lot of great tools, but what I'm going to recommend is like act as a mad scientist in that kind of era. Test as much as possible as apps or tools that fits you. Like myself, ChatGPT, of course, MidJourney for designs, 11 Labs for audio, Notion for productivity. So again, the recommendation is not what are the top tools or apps. Consider yourself as a real mad scientist. Test as much as possible apps or tools and see what fits you. You won't ever reach the goals or the objectives besides making your hand dirty. So try the tools. The top tools are known. Just get used to it, and the more you get used to it, the more you train it, the more you get output out of it. So my reco is just try them, and try them.
Yeah. Well, I use Builder.AI, so I build auto chat bots, personalized. I'm a podcaster, so I use a lot of audio tools, and one of the most important ones is the Adobe one for the sound. I think it's amazing. And the third tool I actually use is Claude. I think most of you use it, but I don't use it in the same way that ChatGPT and so on, because I don't know if you ever prompt Claude to create an application. Anyone did it? No. You can natively code with Claude to create your own application and deploy it like that. So that's the enablement, that's the testing, what you were mentioning. Go and discover. I'd like to thank you. It's time's up for us. I'd like to thank the panelists.
Thank you very much.
Really, Kate, Seif, Azhar for being here. And we're here for any questions. We'll be in the back. Thank you, guys. And here we go.
Thank you.
Is it? Yeah, okay. I hope everyone was taking notes. Were you? Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, time for a selfie. Let's go.